And
So you're talking about biotelemetry, bio reading telemetry.
yeah, 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 where yeah, your blood pressure, your face recognition, and all that, and everything about your blood pressure. If you're scared, it won't respond to it if it looks like you're different or your blood pressure is
And
up
that's also
high.
biometrics.
Yeah.
That's biometrics through biotelemetry. If it's being read by any outside sensor. But if it's just localized, you're talking about it being localized in a vehicle, then that's just biometrics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
inside of the vehicle, and the car won't start. And they're coming out with, and what all different other processes. Okay, now, like when you break down, okay, now, and you take the vehicle to the garage, okay. Now, how are they going to work with this? Like, same company that you got the car from, when you take it there, okay. What are their processes? So do they got to, since they got to buy the vehicles from the plant, then to have it there, do they do the same thing with the parts as well too? And they got to get clearance or however, whatever the process is of the technology for the vehicles.
Well, all that will be kind of baked in. Just like, a locksmith will have master key to things. Same thing with dealerships. They're going to have a master key or something of some kind, mechanics, to get us these things. These things will be set up before it ever gets into our hands.
Okay. And when you buy that car, like if you put that car up for sale and the person that's buying it from you, what is the process of where it removes your face from the computer in it to theirs? You know, where they know who's who, verification on who's the person that's bought it and all the information, your driving record, your driving performance and all that to make sure that your information ain't in the vehicle that you're selling. Who removes it, or if they do remove it, to where the two don't get mixed up in the black box as well. The two works together. You know what is the pro?
Well,
How would they do that?
you mean like how are they going to push it on us?
Well, just not
What do
yeah
you mean?
that, and how will they? Because when you got all that technology and everything about you're in that
Well,
car.
when I was checking this stuff out too, when you talk about stuff like that, you're talking about like more apps and everything than you are anything else. Like Ford Pass, they have Ford Pass now, and they have the Toyota app
Hmm.
and things like
Hmm.
this. And
Correct.
with telematics, the TCUs on a lot of these newer vehicles, like B was talking about, they have built-in modems. You see what I mean? That
Hmm.
they usually log and transmit locations and telematic data. Now
Well,
the
they're going to push. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
now in order
Go ahead.
after you disconnect the car from the manufacturer's motor app, you have to perform what they call a master reset in the vehicle's
Hmm.
information system, and that revokes data sharing agreements and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So, like if what you're saying, Robert, about how do you change ownership and get that all cleared away, that's how you would go about doing it. You would actually want to go in
It,
there and do that.
it's no different than refurbishing a computer.
Yeah.
It's just wiping yourself off and selling a computer. It's no different.
Mm-hmm.
However, they're going to push all this stuff onto us, and it's going to be widely accepted because there'll be offers of lowered insurance rates, um, a legal, having more legal evidence in case accidents happens. Accident awareness sort of thing. It's going to if you're having issues with a certain way that you drive, they may offer like driving the business classes and further lower your insurance rates, and they'll hook you into, because they have to sell you. You're the product. You got to realize you're the product, and they have to manipulate you to get money out of you as much as humanly possible. So they're going to offer you things to where you are. It's going to seem like you're saving money by giving into the manning system. They're going to offer you discounts, but they're just going to come up with more things to offer you that you're going to be paying on. That's going to become standardized. And if you're going to be those people that are not going to be buying into that stuff, you're going to be paying out of the ass for, whatever you default on. And that's the tyranny of it, of business and the government. When they work together like that, you're going to be paying, just, for example, fuel efficiency, you get carbon credits and stuff. You get a more fuel efficient car, or, instead of driving a 1970s slab, like Cadillac or a Lincoln or something that's guzzling gas. Your insurance premiums are going to be higher. You're going to be paying more money in gasoline, and they make it to where they're going to force you to a corner to where you're just going to accept the stuff.
Let me ask you a question now. You're talking about fuel, and that's a good question right there. Okay, if the computer shows, okay, you drive so many miles, and then if it starts looking like the car is going through a change, that's the way I can put it, where it's starting to use more fuel but less miles, where it takes more fuel to go the same amount of distance than before after you reach to a certain amount of miles that you put it through. Now, will that go to the car manufacturer, the car lot that you bought the car from, as well, to where it shows that the maintenance, okay, like to where the insurance there's the secure, what you call it, warranty on it, to where they know all this stuff about the warranty and the condition of how you're driving the vehicle.
Well, let me also point something out too. Whenever I was talking about disengaging the tracking stuff, if you go about doing that, you might as well take that warranty and just throw it out the freaking door. Just get rid of it.
You mess with anything, your warranty's void.
It's gone.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying if you don't mess with anything, but by you driving down the road and it seems like your car is after about 3 to 4 years starting to use a little bit too much fuel, and you didn't go and get a lot of maintenance done to your vehicle. All the information that what you haven't done or you have done, where does it go to where like it gives the information better to the car dealership of
I don't necessarily think that. So what I'm thinking is just like what Roger said. There's going to be apps, and these apps might tell you. The lady I'm staying with, she has a hybrid RAV4, and it tells her, it has a little counter in the dashboard that tells her what her fuel efficiency is. And she was complaining about it being 35 miles to the gallon. She said it should be getting 42. That's what it was when she bought it. It was 42.5 or something like that. And she's like, oh, I think I need to take this in. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that's how they get you. That's how they get you. So there's going to be apps, just like Roger said, and they might give you suggestions. You should take your shop in for to be looked at, and then they're going to be looking at your data. They're going to look at your data, your the way you drive. It's going to make suggestions to you over and over, and it's going to give you the options to pay for this, pay for that. You're going to pay for a subscription to this thing that's going to think for you. And, I mean, I don't think the dealership is going to be the major. It's not the bad guy. They're just a part of the system. Um, but they're going to do all the stuff and make things more efficient for you to get to things closer, better routes. And this way they can start cramming us into these 15-minute cities, right?
Well, yeah. Well,
And everything goes from there.
yeah. Well, the thing of it is, what wouldn't be so bad as well with the little black box if the little black box works in a condition of what you call like me keep keep our check the engine itself. You know what you call like diagnostics. It does a diagnostic all on its own. The little black box to where it keeps an eye, and when you do go into the garage, okay, the little black box knows the things of what's showing up, coming close to failing or not failing, and what actually shape and what condition it is.
Well, you see, even there though, that's a rocky road because now they're coming out with this setup to where every time a car comes to a street light and it's red, it will shut the car off, and then when the car or when the light turns green, it will restart it. I think that's kind of overreaching. Like
Yeah,
that's people shouldn't have or companies or even manufacturers should not have the right to shut your car off because the stoplight is red. You know what I mean? I think that's really insane. So, I mean, even there, I think they're really overextending themselves in that aspect too.
Well, I don't think it'll be used like that because extenuating circumstances. A semi truck may be coming behind you, barreling in at 60 miles an hour. You're going to need to press the gas to get the hell out of the way. So unless all the cars are automated, I don't think they're going to be able to do that. However, they will use that kind of technology if, let's say, you have a warrant for your arrest. Cops will come and find you. If you're in a police chase, they'll just shut your car down. That sort of thing, that sort of fruition is the way I think it would be used. Somebody stealing your car, finds a way to get around the metrics hacking your system, whatever. They may have a bypass and shut down your car. These are the things that they will sell us on so that we take this technology. Now, it's going to be used in some very other nefarious ways, like assassinations, for example. Maybe they'll say he doesn't like you. He's going to tell your car to go drive off a cliff.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. And they were showing on the news a few months ago where these people are going around. One guy holds his hand up with an antenna up high up in the air above his head, above the car, and what it does picks up the signal of the car to be started. And there's a third person there get into the car and drive off with it, and the other two gets back in the original car and leaves. Now, for that situation there, what condition, what part of security does that fall under for the wireless systems in the car?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Yeah, that
Well,
Can you rephrase
like
it?
the signal from where it keeps the car from getting stolen, where they picked it up, they did, and with that little black box, they have a way of popping the car open to get it going, start it without it turning off.
well, that's what I was explaining to you about just a little while ago when it comes to how you can disconnect these devices and stuff. I mean, if you're a thief, yeah, you can do the same thing as what you would want to do if you didn't want to have these devices on your vehicle. It's just a matter of what you're. I mean, like if you're an owner who doesn't want to have these things installed or you want to have them connected, you do the same thing that a thief would do if they're wanting to steal your car. You see what I mean? It's
But they're gonna incentivize you to get this technology, and they're going to punish you if you don't.
Right.
I see, like I see in the future of this sort of thing. They're going to be rebuilding, making new highways and things like that. Yeah, sure, you'll be going 110 miles an hour if the computer's driving for you. Oh, you don't want that? Well, then you can stick to this dirt road over here and drive your archaic vehicle. Your vehicle won't be allowed on the same road.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
What about the new car, pan car they're talking about? How would that work with this new technology that they're coming, where the car supposedly drives down the road and wings comes out and flies into the air? You stop to think about uh, that. That's pretty. To me, that's pretty weird for a car to do that. But then with the technology, how or what would would have to do completely different on that?
You talking George Jetson?
Well, no, they got cars where you can fly. The cars can fly.
No,
Uh-huh.
those
They're high tech.
I've seen like there's videos on the internet. Now those you got to be careful because I've
Yeah.
been seeing those come out since well into like 2015 all the way up to now. They got like drones that are supposed to look like cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And things of that nature. But I mean, a lot of that I've seen them on the internet as videos, but I've yet to see one in real life. So.
But when they do come out, how are they going? How that's going to work? When you talk about a vehicle, an
Well, that's
airplane, I mean, car, it's got that
If
ability.
if they give us flight like flying taxis and stuff like that, you're talking heavy regulations. I mean, Trump fired all the freaking I'm not making this political, but the traffic controllers. We have more planes going down now. The air traffic controllers can't handle the caseload because there's not as many of them as we're used to. That is just proving to be an example of how important it's going to be to actually have control over a secondary control over systems and anything that flies, because you have your liability. When you're just on the ground, that's one thing. That's a liability that is going to multiply because you're just worried about pedestrians and cars on the road. When you have the flying, you got buildings with citizens in them. You have property, land, reserves, things that cannot be destroyed, that shouldn't be destroyed, especially things that are part of infrastructure, power poles, cell towers, things like that. You will not be able, I see this coming, you will not be able to actually have full control over your own vehicles. Everything you do will be computer guided. You may have some, control, but your control will be guided. You won't be able to fully operate your vehicle at that point.
I was wondering how would they, if when that day comes, that happens. How will they arrange this for what you call it when you go from like U.S. to Canada or U.S. to Mexico? What is how you would think that would work in the process of this? Okay, like don't you have to have?
I'm pretty sure they will have, like if you're trying to run from the cops, trying to cross the border into Mexico or something, they're going to have things set up where they hit you with an EMP device or whatever. Depends on, if you've hacked your own vehicle and you're trying to take off somewhere you're not supposed to be in a restricted zone, I'm pretty sure they'll have the EMP pulse devices to make sure that you don't fly to the White House.
Yeah, but
make sure you don't fly. Uh-huh.
Yeah. What I was more or less referring to is where when you go from one country to the other, and for all the computer stuff to be worked and then all that, ain't there like a attachment, that black box where like how they know that what's working and what's not if the car shuts down for some reason, they know why. But if you go into another country, wouldn't that happen because it's no longer what you call it working with another computer or however they do it.
Well, no. So this will be controlled by corporations. This is not going to be a government controlled thing. If you're talking international travel, corporations don't recognize borders. You know what I mean? If you have an entire infrastructure set up.
Okay, so they would have to go through state to state, I mean country to country to get that all straightened up to do that.
I'm, I'm pretty sure you have to have an electronic passport and all that stuff. You know, sensors will probably be set up to receive your information, to read your, you know, look through your car, make sure you don't have any weapons or drugs. You know, you be X-rayed in a sense, and going from border to border. It's going to be invasive. Your privacy. You're not going to have privacy if you're going to be anything like this.
So I wanted to check
perverted
up
our government is.
I wanted to check up on the whole auto start and stop systems that I was talking to you about. Now, I actually pulled up the information, and believe it or not, it is actually the technology is available. And the scary part of it is it is in the majority of the automotive dealerships. Most of them on the newer ones have it available to it. Now the thing that it told me is that what they're doing for this is so that they can reduce freaking emissions and stuff, and the reduction for it is only like 70% to 26% compared to like constant running cars. And how they do it is like whenever you actually hit your brake, it shuts the engine down, and the moment you let off the brake, it automatically starts it up. And they said that these cars have like heavy duty equipment because of the on and off. It causes a lot of wear and tear on the vehicle.
Well, yeah, that was actually proposed in order to improve gas mileage.
Right. Now, what they have here on the list of vehicles, they have the Ford and Lincoln, which with the standard on models like the F-150 Ford truck, the Ford Explorer, the Escape. Then you have the Bronco and the Ranger. Those all have them in it. Then with General Motors, which is Chevrolet, GMC, Buick, and Cadillac, it equips. It's equipped on roughly about 70% or more of their lineups, which include the Chevrolet Silverado 1500, the Malibu, the Equinox, the GMC Sierra, and then the Yukon and Cadillac XT5. Then you have...
Cadillac pioneered this stuff with that OnStar.
Yeah. Then they have it on Stellantis, Jeep, Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, Subaru has it on theirs, like the Outback and the Forester, and then you have Toyota and Lexus, which has it built into theirs as well. I mean, this stuff just keeps going on. It's got the Hyundai, and the Kia even has it. It's crazy. And BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Volvo. Wow. Yeah, I didn't scroll.
Yeah, at that point, I'm so glad, for, I don't use Uber, but I think at some point I will, Uber Eats or something like that. You know, let other people accumulate their data on their machines, whatever. Come deliver me my food, and, if I need you, I'll call you. I don't want to be in your system.
Yeah, it's just so messed
That's
up.
what I liked about living in Europe. The public transportation is awesome. I even had a driver. So there was no need for me to have a car. It was cheaper for me to have a personal driver than to buy a car, pay insurance, pay registration, pay for gas, pay for maintenance. I just have a driver. So I think a lot of people might actually go that route. It's just, if I know there's people that have to go to work every day. Not everybody can just sit their butt at home and freelance. But for those of us that can, I think we're going to be able to work off outside the grid a lot easier than other people. Those people who are retired or self-employed, these kind of people. And I hope that they do.
Okay, how does
Sorry, that
this
was a
work?
little side tangent.
How does this work with electrical vehicles? Consider however much of this process is with all the new technology that they're putting into the vehicles. How much wattages does it take to run all this for an electrical vehicle? Would you say? Because however the amount of power
Whatever.
the battery holds.
Well, see, that's the gimmick, okay?
The battery, the
The,
alternator.
well, see, that's the
Like
gimmick.
electrical
They
car.
they're throwing the whole. This is a hybrid. This is an electrical car. We need to
Uh-huh.
set up all these new changes so that it can be more futuristic. They're pushing it like V says, like it's just a big sales ad. You know what I mean? It's like we need this because we are the future. When in
Well, have
reality,
you
they just
seen?
want to track you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm done. That was my
Well,
rant.
I don't know if you guys have seen these vehicles. I like to keep up on police techs, and so they've had this technology for quite some time. It's never been used it hasn't been used yet on the public, but this police car that they had made, it was a concept car. They drove this car and they demonstrated in front of a speeding car, and out of the trunk, there's a device that does a localized EMP pulse, and it stops the vehicle that's behind them. It shuts down the car completely. Now, I believe they haven't used this on the public yet because I think if we, as a people, seen that they have these capabilities, we would not be buying electric cars. We'd be sticking to as many old cars as we can keep around.
Well, did you hear what
Because
they're talking?
there's a certain amount of public. You know how people, with Windows, we know how bad Windows is. We got the Linux users.
Yeah.
The Linux users of our society is going to keep the older vehicles that can't be shut down by EMP. So until there's a complete conversion where they get people to get these electric cars, like it becomes standard, and having a real car, gasoline car, is so far in between and rare. Once we have all that, they're going to pull that tech into play. It's scary. The stuff they want to do. The more technology that comes out, the less control that we're going to have over our own lives and our own actions.
Yeah,
So,
and my thing of it is too. Okay, where they're talking about taking old cars even today and putting it through the process. Okay, when you gotta get what is that place where you gotta take your car to have it looked at to where if it's fit to drive on the road and all that?
yeah, you
And
need inspections, yeah.
okay, yeah. Are these inspectors going to be qualified to make that perception on the vehicle, what's in the vehicle, condition of the technology? Okay, because they're
So
saying
they'll
that.
probably hook it up to a
Yeah,
diagnostics machine, and it'll take all the information.
Yeah, but who's going to install it? I mean, where are they going to put all this at for them places to do that for all the older vehicles? You're talking like a big old warehouse for millions of old cars.
Well, so again, once there will be the option for conversions. However, that's for people who have a little bit more money that want to keep the old style cars. Like the rich people, the Jay Lenos of the world that have car collections. In order to have those cars on the road, they might have to have a custom conversion put on them. And that would be a booming business for the upper class there.
Yeah.
However, being a middle class and below, you're not going to have that option, I don't think. What will happen is that you're just going to be forced to upgrade because you're going to get less. You're going to be able to find less and less and less services for your older vehicle. There'll be less car garages. There'll be less mechanics that even specialize in that stuff. So you're going to be forced to make that switch, and for one reason or another.
Yeah. And but that's what I'm saying too. And and what I'm saying too is your information, your private information. Okay, the places that you go, the people that you go and see, mileage and all that. Okay, if it leads to where if you don't want people knowing about you got 2 or 3 girlfriends, okay, then that should be kept between you and your car. You know, not to where if a person ever wanted to hack your car to get that data.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now
but
that's
that's what they want, the data.
yeah, but that's what
And
I'm referring to as well. All right. And I wonder how they're going to represent this into like motorcycles, small engines, you know, because
and on
I have
top
to
of it
think
too,
about that.
if you end up having a gas guzzler or something that they consider a gas guzzler, you just may be taxed for. You may even be fined because you're going to have to go through inspections, and the government may regulate. You have to have a certain miles per hour to, gas gallons per hour, or I'm sorry, gallons per mile. That's what I'm trying to say. And if it doesn't meet that standard, you just may be pulled over and fined by a police officer.
Okay, but don't they actually go for the electric
You know,
vehicles too?
so if something comes in disrepair with your electric vehicle, yeah. But again, you're going to have all these apps that tell you this, tell you that you're subscribed to, paying money for, yada yada yada. And of course, things are going to be made cheaper because the thing about electronics, with the old cars that are steel,
Yeah.
made of metal and things like that, there's less wear and tear versus these little fiberglass, cars that are eventually just going to be made out of, plasteel or some kind of hardened plastic. It's going to be more wear and tear, and it's not going to last as long. You're going to be replacing parts, or if something is so expensive that, for example, a car battery costs almost as much as the car. So if your car battery goes out, you're buying a new car.
Yeah.
Anyways,
And it's like what I found.
they're going to get you no matter what you do.
Yeah. Why I was bringing this up about the thing about maintaining, they do an engine search and all that. The little black box, knowing what's going on within the engine. Because here in West Frankfurt, there was 3 to 4 cars, computerized cars that blew up. Okay, and found out one guy I know of. This happened to him about 2 or 3 years ago. Up inside the engine, the fire had a black flow, back, like back where the the stuff went a little too much, and it caused a fire, blew up the whole engine and all that. Sort of a big old fire from within the engine itself, and that's what I'm referring to. Like if there needs to be some kind of like program thing, not where it's charging you for it, but it runs a thing, the diagnostic through the engine, the wiring and all that to make sure that, like with lightning
Well,
strike.
those things can also lie to you as well. Okay,
Well, yeah,
so we talked about this before, like the printers today with the ink cartridges. That your printer will tell you that you're out of ink, even though the cartridges are half full. But because the ink cartridge is telling the printer a different story, it's not going to work. So, and a subscription as well. Some of these printers don't work without a subscription with the ink. The same thing will be with these electric cars. If you were to drive, let's say this thing tells you there's a part that's degrading, that's going out. You need to go get it replaced. But if you're knowledgeable and you look at that part, you say, "Oh no, this part's just fine. This part's fine. No, I'm gonna keep driving." No, the car's going to tell you, no, you're not going to keep driving. You're going to go get your place now. So it's rife. It's the situation is rife for corruption and basically burglarizing the public.
Yeah.
Shakedowns.
Oh, and one other thing too. Okay. Now this is what I'm curious about. Let's say someone did. Okay, with you still in the car. Okay, but someone steals your car with you in it. Okay. Now, without you swinging your hands and all that, is there any way this vehicle can register? There's two people, and the person that's driving, their blood pressure is up and all that, and does it, like, and you drive by the cop. Now, you would think that blood pressure going of this driver and all that, and you have a way of seeing this person too, because with all that stuff that they got in, you can look and see the eyes of a person, and you can tell he's what you call it, being harassed or being made to be doing something. You should be, and a cop. What is the cop? You would think since that car's, does the cop have a thing where he can have that car turned off?
Well, I mean, I don't think that that's actually going to be the purpose for that kind of technology. You know what
Well,
I
I'm
mean?
saying
But I
about,
mean, it's
But
wishful
if
thinking.
well,
well, I'm
if you
saying
want
like
to get
if,
dystopian, like really dystopian about it, your car can probably interrogate you. Like a lie detector test, and checking. Did this person commit a crime just now? Reading all your vital signs. The dash may come up with questions. Siri may come up, start asking questions. If you're not answering correctly, it just may call the cops on you and drive you up to the police station.
yeah,
You want to get
and with,
dystopian about it.
yeah. Well, with all the new 100 new technologies that Ford and all, okay, has implemented into the vehicle, is that black box. How would you say for all that for everything that's working in the car? How does that black box
Well,
going to keep up with all that?
let me clear something up because you keep saying black box. Okay, it's not a black box. There's multiple devices, and like what I just explained to you, okay, with the capabilities they're having just with the brakes and being able to stop the car. That right there tells me that future cars, okay, you're not going to be able to disconnect from the matrix. You're going to be a part of that infrastructure no matter what. Because if you try to disconnect your car from it, it's just not going to be. You're not going to be able to use it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, correct, because you're going to have sensor on top of sensor. In order for this sensor to work, you need these 3 sensors over here. In order for those 3 sensors to work, you're going to need 6 sensors over here. If you remove one of those things out of the entire thing, the entire car may just not work. You're absolutely right.
And and I wonder, and you brought up a thing too about insurance. In what way? Because when all this got to be working and all that, how is it the insurance? How's the insurance going to what you call it? Well, I know how they're going to benefit from it, but when it goes the other direction as
Well,
well.
it's not going to go the other direction. This is actually this is the insurance company's wet dream. Okay, now
Absolutely.
it's just like we had these conversations about the new technology with everybody just in the last show we did. Okay, and you got two people who are freaking into science really strong. Mike, who's into freaking physics, and then you have Mark, who's into computer technology. Okay, and we were talking about the new technologies that are coming out, and these two people are in complete and absolute denial about what is actually available. They do not want to accept the fact that this technology is real, and it's actually overwhelming to them. You know, And that's what it's really about.
Mm-hmm.
People right now are just in shock and awe. They don't believe that what's being said and what they're seeing is actually true. And these are people who've
Mm-hmm.
gone to school, they know the freaking science, and they still can't believe it. You know, when
Isn't that amazing?
it's completely amazing. It's like I remember old video clips where what's his name the old guy with the gray hair, he was always talking about 2050 and about how they were going to have suits that you wear as clothes, and whenever you get hurt, the suit will actually prevent the blood from freaking flowing out of you and contact the police whenever you're in distress so that they can have an ambulance come out and pick you up, you know. Yukaki. I don't know if I said that right, but you know that's the kind of stuff that's happening right now. That's what's taking place. You know.
Well, science fiction is usually like, I mean, science fact is usually stranger than science fiction. You
They
know,
don't. It's
but I like the concept. Like in this Fallout game, I don't know if you guys played the game, but scientists or the and the radiation, they have these radiation suits, and if anybody were to die or be injured, the suits themselves would automate and return them back to home base. Now, that's if you're alive or even dead.
well,
So, yeah.
but they actually got suits today. Actually, they got a fabric that's made out of metal where when you shoot through it, it reseals itself up. It does. Okay, you can use it for, and it shows. It
Oh,
shows.
inflate.
Yeah, it
Demolition
shows.
Man.
It's molecular where it reseals itself, and it does the thing of where like when you get hurt, it sends a thing off to the people that can read the information, the data from what your suit transmitting from, and as well, you can use and they're talking like for like warp abilities and all that.
Hold up,
Cause
I kind of got distracted there. I'm sorry, but let me also fill that in about the insurance thing because that's what we were actually talking about. Now, with this technology too, this is also going to be applied to like your toothbrush. They're going to have sensors inside of your toilets and inside of your sink. They're going to have it inside of your shower. And for the toilet, whenever you pee into the toilet, it's going to send off the information of what's in your urine to your freaking medical
Yep.
insurance. It's going to tell your dentist what condition your teeth are in. Whenever you have the sensors in the shower, that what that's going to do is it's going to keep track of how much water you're using. You see,
well, yeah,
stuff like that.
And if you don't maintain these systems yourself, you're liable to have your insurance go up, or even be fined, or even go to jail, depending on how dystopian it gets.
well, then that's when you call. But what I was referring to about the insurance as well is like when you have a car wreck, okay, and it shows the whole process of who hit who, at what speed and what angle and all that. And the insurance don't want to pay for it because they're wanting to cover it up or try to mess with the data. Okay.
Or you know, they'll come up with technicalities that it'll further complicate everything, which gives them more reign. It'll give them carte blanche to come up with things to invalidate giving you money.
Or
Absolutely.
try to get out of giving you money.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. And it's like with people.
Well, look at it like this too. Okay, now look at you're driving around in a car that has a camera pointed at your face, and you're driving down the road, and you look away just for 1 second, and bam, you hit somebody. Now, the moment that you looked away is the moment that that camera is going to tell your insurance provider, no, we don't have to pay them because he looked away
Hmm.
just at that moment when he ran into that car. So that they don't have to pay it.
Or or even that, oh, he's had 3 cups of coffee. The guy was amped up. Of course he's trying to speed. Or oh, you got into a wreck because you're arguing with your girlfriend. And the girlfriend may be given criminal charges or financial responsibility or completely cancel out your insurance. There's so many scenarios, yeah, that they can come up with. The more surveillance and the more data that they have, the more you actually become liable.
Yeah, and that's a thing too. Like we were talking about maintenance. Your insurance can cancel your insurance because of lack of maintenance on the vehicle. That's
Right.
where we call it a two-way thing. Your car company could be sucking you with money outrageous for maintenance fees and your insurance too.
You're literally going to be paying and being a slave to a nanny state.
Yeah,
Literally.
and it's like right now. I forget. He told us about the name of the car. It's a taxi service in Canada. It's completely automated AI, and there's some here in New York that as well too in the U.S. And it's all and that's a perfect example of what I'm referring to right there.
And just to let you
Well,
know,
well,
tomorrow
the people.
we will be talking about that too. B. So if you want to come on
Okay,
to Untethered, we're going to, because that's going to be the tech episode, and we're going to be talking about that too. So
okay. Well, I was going to say this is also going to streamline the court system. There's not going to be all this showing up in court dates, da da da. You might end up having your court date right there. If your display is still working, it may be some magistrate there ready to go to issue you your fine, and you're going to be paying them, through your debit right through the right through the system in your car. Boom. The government will swell. The natty state will swell, and it's something that we don't need.
Yeah. And another thing wouldn't be so bad if it was just built in for people that for medical if a person had a heart attack in the car, if the car has that ability to where it can drive or sound off a thing to where for the closest police car around just to send a thing that heart attack, some kind of thing to notify the right people that alert that they need help at this place, this vehicle.
And if people start rejecting this thing, then the sort of technology and this whole scenario, if people start rejecting it, well, then there's going to be false flags. Yeah. Let's say he's going to come up with a virus that affects cars in a certain way. Oh, you got to come bring in your car for a check,
hmm
for a checkup. Or, oh, this terrorist group hacked 20 cars and they all drove and killed a bunch of people in a parade. You know, they're, it's going to get out of control. It's going to get out of our control. It's going to be in the hands of the corporation and the government, which is not where it should be.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't. I mean, I could look at the positive aspects of it, but it's going down a slippery slope where, I mean, like I said, a car is your private property right now. That's what it is, and it's supposed to be recognized that
Your
way.
private space,
You know, um,
too. Yeah.
people like to debate that all the time, but the truth is if I have private property and I want to drive an unlicensed vehicle on my private property, I can. Nobody can stop me from doing it because that is my property and the vehicle is my private property as well. Now that's going to change if you start incorporating all of this crap into it. It's bad enough they've already regulated driving so bad that People don't even
The
realize.
groundwork has already been laid for all of this.
Mhm.
Technically, you don't own your car. Anyways, you can go to a dealership, pay cash, get the title to a car, and drive off the lot. But the thing is, you have to go get your car registered. Now, what is registration? The key. So in the etymology, reg means king. Okay, like if you kill a king, it's called regicide. Reg. If you register something, you are giving ownership over whatever it is that you're registering over to whoever it is that you're registering it to. It's technically theirs. So they can place policies onto you anytime they want, so long as it's registered to the state or the government. Okay? So you already, that, you can speed. Oh, you have 2 speeding tickets. You haven't paid them. Oh, okay. Pull the let's call a tow truck. That's how they can legally tow you, because the vehicle was registered to the state. So having this private, the idea of privacy and private property, it's a diminishing thing right now. It's something that we need to be aware of.
Well, don't they have I'm just guessing about this, but if there's a thing that within an air, any kind of odor in the air, they have a way of finding it. If it gets picked up by some kind of thing that reacts to certain types of any kind of odors, like if you smoke, you drink coffee, or drink beer or whatever, how things, the odors, you can smell it in the air. And if a car has an ability to notice in the air, in the car, what it is and respond to that, like
filtration system could definitely pick
Well,
up different things. Sure.
Well, I have experience in this area, so let me go ahead and let me go ahead and just break in here, because like I've
Go ahead.
You guys
Bring it
know
on down.
I've been in AA and other 12-step programs, so they've had the technology freaking to stop cars from driving because of breathalyzers, but that's physically taking the breathalyzer and putting it to your mouth and breathing into it to get it to start. If there's no alcohol in it, then the car can start. But if it picks up on any sign of alcohol on your breath, it will not start. Now this would take it to a whole different level, though, where they don't have to have you do the breathalyzer. They can just pick up on the odors in the car, or the scent that's coming out of your mouth, or even facial recognition. I mean, they're starting to use facial recognition in ways that they really shouldn't be doing. If they show.
Well, imagine.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, okay. Well, imagine, because I've known some alcoholics that have the breathalyzer thing in the car, but they would just get other people to do the breathalyzer for them. You may get DNA tagged to your own vehicle. So that you couldn't even do that. Imagine that. 23andMe gets your DNA data and it logs it into your computer system in your vehicle. The only person that can start that car will be you, and you have to be sober. I think it's a good thing on the outcome, but not going into it. It's too invasive. And things that, Roger's just saying there, I mean, it's intrusive. Maybe you've got a bunch of booze in the car. Maybe you spilled something, a drink got thrown in your face or something like that, and you're screwed. You may just be transporting. You may not actually be intoxicated. So, these things would be very intrusive. But they will find a way to sell it to us.
Yeah. And another way too is your pulse. If you're drinking, I guess your blood pressure or your pulse or your blood pressure would be somewhat up. And if you hold on that steering wheel, wouldn't it? Don't they have a thing where they can pick that up you know how fast your heartbeat, your pulse is going from what it would usually be.
Well, they can do that
Yeah,
already.
just from the biometrics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Oh, okay.
I mean, because it's like I was talking the other day about the phone. Whenever they've got that
Uh-huh.
verification thing now, it's off of your finger. You touch the power button on the phone, and it can take your fingerprints.
They may put an implant into you.
You know.
I met a security guard here at this facility. Um, we were talking about health issues and stuff like that. He said, "Yeah, I'm diabetic. I have to monitor my blood sugar." He pulls out his phone. He says, "See, look, my blood sugar is at 92." I'm like, "How does your phone know your blood sugar level?" He said he had an implant in his shoulder. I was like, "Wow, wow." He said, "Not only does he have the implant in his shoulder, but Medicaid pays for it because he's older than 65. It was 100% free." I was like, "Well, that's kind of neat." And I'm thinking in my head, "Wow, that's intrusive. An implant? Oh, dear God, an implant. Yeah, if it's not a pacemaker, I don't want it." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Well, and I was
technology will go anyway and everywhere.
because I wonder, and all the countries that with all this, the type of technology, it makes you wonder too, how does other countries feel about of these these type of technology? It's like in Africa, they got these splinter groups that does what they're doing, and they get
Well,
there.
the corporations will think for these other governments. The corporations will tell them what to do. It's like, do you want money? Do you want you want to be part of the global economy? Well, you're going to have a plant in your country, and you're going to administer this to your citizens, and the governments will do it.
Yeah,
No,
well, and
I also believe I also believe they did that as well when it comes to the oil companies in Africa. Like in the Congos, they would actually
Exactly.
take and they would these oil companies would give crap loads of money to frickin' the guy in charge, and they would put it in a trust fund form separate from the rest of the country. As long as he kept his mouth shut and did what he was told, frickin' he would keep getting that money. And the oil companies literally ran that whole area for the longest time until they finally started catching on to them. You know,
100% correct.
and these corporations they're the ones that are in charge. They pay people off and they call the shots.
yeah, but what I was referring to as well, I could see only two good things about this. Okay, and only two. Okay, like over in Africa, they got these splinter groups that's going around shooting, robbing people, taking medicines, and all that. Well, if these vehicles are as like that, and if some places have vehicles there, they'd be able to look and find out where their group is at, where their little hideout is as well. Plus, like with the people, we call that the one that's going around killing elephants, animals, and all that.
Poachers.
Yeah, poachers. Okay, what better way of locating the poachers? That if all there is vehicles like this, just imagine what would happen to them and their business.
Well, so even if they did reject the technology, they
They
want to keep
can't go
gas-powered
nowhere.
vehicles. They built it. Well, well, no, not necessarily. But if they want to reject the technology and keep the gas-powered vehicles, anytime you have a situation like that, you're going to get destabilized. Some other country, more likely the United States government, covert operations, will go in there and create splinter cells of criminal groups just to further destabilize things, and false flags and CIA got their cells doing this, doing that. They will make such turmoil in the country that when somebody from the outside comes in offering a solution, not just a solution, but also money, economic hitmen, they'll come in and they'll just take over. Have you ever heard read that book, The Economic Hitman? Diary of Economic Hitman? Something like that?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is what the CIA specializes in.
No,
This is what they will do.
I also want to point out something about the Iraq War too. Now, that what you're talking about, Robert, has already taken place. The intelligence networks that were involved with the Iran war involved England and the United States, and they actually had people using electronics like the phones and things of that nature to track terrorists and people who were against the United States during that war. They literally were keeping tabs on conversations and telephones from these people. They knew where they were at all times, and they were tracking them. And it was just because they had a freaking mobile phone, or they had a freaking, this stuff. They've been doing it for a long time. It's been a part of it. Me and Mark.
You want to know how long they've been doing it? 20 years ago, when I was in the Army, this was in boot camp, mind you. A drill sergeant handed me and a battle buddy a phone. Now, it was a cell phone. It was a flip phone. He took the battery out of it. He said, go run in the middle of the field, and I'll let you know when you can come back. So we ran to the middle of this field, and we were just, we were there for about 5 minutes just talking with each other. Drill sergeant waves at us to come back. So we ran back over to the barracks entrance, and he told us everything that we said. He recited the entire conversation in that 5 minutes that we said. That was 20 years ago. So imagine today. We already know that YouTube is listening. After I do a show with you guys, every time I do a show with you guys, whatever we've talked about, I go through my YouTube suggestion feed. There's 2 or 3 things about what we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
That's video suggesting. Yeah. So if YouTube was listening to us, you damn well know CIA is listening to us. Hell, McDonald's could be listening to us for all we know. We've been sold down the river so damn far, we don't know. Anybody can listen to us. H&R Block can be listening to us.
You damn straight McDonald's is listening. McDonald's is listening. I mean, shit.
You never know.
Right to work
You get those
state.
coupons in the mail. Come on now.
Freaking right to work state. That's the reason why freaking I learned about right to work states is because when I was living in Missouri, and McDonald's is the biggest ringleader of all of them, man. Like, this whole franchise thing is just a load of shit. When you really start finding out about all of that stuff, you start finding out about a lot of the organization and the data that they're pulling up on people. And it's all through this right to work.
In technology as well.
Go ahead.
I'm seriously talking about, oh man, I can use a double quarter pounder right now with cheese. 2 days later, I've got coupons in the mail. They're collecting all this data, everything. We'll be able to buy. Can you imagine how many entities are listening to us right now? It's not just the NSA.
Well, you look at
it's not just our phone services.
Everybody's like bragging about right to work states, like how great they are, okay? And they don't want to look at the fact that if you go in there and you're not qualified to work, they can hire you, and then the moment they get sick of your shit, they can just fire you anytime they want. That's on the surface. But then you have these right to work states that frickin' also allow franchises to do that and then frickin' hand out information. So you have the fast food joints, you got the payday loans that frickin' are out that everybody hates getting phone calls from. You got all of these frickin' liquor distribution outlets that are really, really into pushing the ID registration thing. You know what I mean? Why are they doing that? I wonder. You know what I mean? Because more regulation means more freaking money for them. You see?
And not to go too far off the subject here, I've had this phone number um, that I'm calling you guys on. I've had it for over 2 years. I'm still getting text for a Shauna, the previous owner of the phone number, about loans. Apparently, this person has taken out a couple loans, and every loan agency in the country is blowing up my phone 24/7.
That's what I'm talking about, like with the car. Okay, there's all this technology that they're putting into the vehicle, and when you buy and you sell the vehicle, what information that's in it to make sure that it doesn't follow you into when you buy the vehicle.
Well, a phone number is an ID, essentially. It's a location and ID. You have a phone number that is unique to you. I have a phone number that's registered to me. So it's not the hardware; it's the phone number.
Yeah, but don't.
So if
Hmm?
you have something that ties into like subscriptions, because again, you're gonna need subscriptions to the apps. That Roger brought up. There's gonna be apps. There's gonna be subscriptions. But these things will follow you around. I think it just because you may be in the same, let's say, economic status or position as the previous owner of the vehicle, they just may just advertise the same stuff to you as the original owner of the car. That would be a possibility. They're the same economic class. They might have similar positions in life. Maybe they might want to, and then they'll build upon that data, and they'll build upon that, and they'll become a formula, and then it'll spread across the entire country. Yeah, I mean that is a valid concern. Now that we've gone back over it, yeah, that's a valid concern.
Because why I say that for? Because if they got like with the cameras in it, and if you're able to talk as well, and they registers your voice as a person, that picture and the vehicle that goes to the vehicle. Okay, and you want to
Uh,
make sure. And to me, I just figure, okay, what is the process of from one to the other? Because if you have two voices, two of everything in the computer that's running all that, how the computer can tell the difference from one to the other? Because you can stand outside of the car as long as the car hears your voice, will respond to you. If you got two people standing beside the car, and after the car
so
hears both of you, well, it's not saying how
so
they'll ever.
well, I travel around with this woman that I'm renting from all the time, and we'll be having conversations. I would say about 3 out of 10 times that we're driving, the Siri will come on and like, "What'd you say? You want what? Oh, Siri, can you repeat that, please?" And it'll just come on, and we have to shut it off manually. We have to press a button to shut it off. It's like stop listening. So yeah, I mean it's a surveillance state, brother. This is the nightmare. This is the dystopian present that we have. So
Yeah.
that is a valid concern.
And one thing I've noticed too, because if you ever look around again when you go to like National Guard Armory, you look at their vehicles. Okay, now they're already doing it to the U.S. citizens' vehicles. Okay, but so far that I know of, they haven't done it yet to the government, to the National Guard vehicles. You know, their trucks, bigger trucks, tank, uh, tractors, and all that. Because people has hopped on them and cruised downtown with them. You would stop and think about what better way to if they're going to probably put that into farm equipment as well to avoid that from happening. of someone walking up and stealing a tractor. Okay.
Well, a concern that I have, and I think I've spoken about this with you guys. Maybe not. So when that whole AI picture thing came out, like you type in what you want the picture to be, and AI will make the picture.
Yeah.
I just want to see what would happen. I put in worst race on Earth, worst human race on Earth. You know what it came up with?
Mm-mm.
Take a wild guess. Just take a guess.
I hate.
All right, I'm not gonna put. Okay, I don't want to get you in trouble.
Well,
Well, it showed a Neanderthal like black people,
a what?
and it showed like black people as Neanderthals. This is the worst race of people on the planet. So if the AI only knows what it's fed, right? The information is fed. It makes decisions. It comes to conclusions based on the information it's fed. So, with that said, you can be racially profiled by an AI. You never know. You could be a black dude just chilling, driving down the road, smoking a blunt. The AI on you, call the police, and have you followed by cops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is what because it's collecting data and it's listening. It may find ways of profiling people that we don't have yet. It may find that people with a certain octave of voice do a certain thing, or maybe someone who only fills up half a tank will go and do this activity. There's more prone to do that activity. It's going to collect so much data to where it's going to start profiling us based on our behavior, which is the point of the marketing. But also, it might get us in legal trouble. So it's something that it's very dangerous. The whole AI thing in the cars, it's not going to be. I mean, we'll be conspiracy theorists, right?
Yeah.
Most people have with this technology, most people will have a pleasant experience, but there's going to be a percentage of us who are going to get nothing but hell.
Yeah. But
I know. Go ahead.
I was wondering, your retina. I'm saying that right, ain't I? Your eye. You know how they got that machine?
Yes, retina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like if there's a camera in the car, okay, and it has that face recognition and all that, you would think too that if they're smart enough for a security measure and all that, do a retina, if it's able to do that, or a retina scan, to verify who you are, you're the one that's in control of, the car, is it yours?
Yes.
Not to where if a
biometrics.
person that tries to steal the car or tries to do something to it, that it has a way to verify who is who.
Mm-hmm.
And
you may be someone who accidentally, you may just be chilling with a friend, and for some reason you end up sitting in the driver's seat. It may scan you. it may ask you, are you still in the car, and you got to have like the owner override to stop the police from coming. It's all kinds of things that are going to have to be worked through, of course. Yeah. But I'm sorry. Continue your question.
Well, that and like ambulance vehicles, okay, if they're going to be putting stuff like this in, they're going to especially have to work on that situation there, because when ambulance drivers got to high speed, turn, look at someone talking to them in the back and all that, not able to keep their face straight 100%, that's how they're going. The program is going to have to be altered or upgraded for that situation there, for the ambulance system vehicle, because it's not being driven the original way as when it needs to be. There's driving, but then
Well,
there's high
more
speed driving.
than more than likely, if there's going to be any kind of automation, ambulance tag along with it that will be exploited or unable to be worked around. So, yeah, I mean, really, I wish vehicles had the capability of becoming emergency vehicles on their own. Let's say you're sitting in your car, you have a heart attack. The car should be able to have red and blue lights flashing on it that automatically drive you to the hospital.
And like
So,
a
I
signal,
mean,
what you call it, like a communication thing sends off a pulse to where
right,
ambulance or the law enforcement knows where you're at, to where you're in trouble. You need, you
right.
need, but yeah, and that's a good thing. But what I was referring
There's
to
so much
is,
good. Yeah.
yeah, and what I was referring to is drivers. The ambulance, because they're going to the point where if you go over to a certain temperature, if you go over the speed limit
Hmm.
and your face is to a different direction and your expression on your face too, your blood pressure as well.
Hmm.
Well, all that has to be taken consideration for that purpose there, because you're not dealing with a person, a regular person driving. There's someone's got to be rescued, sent to the hospital in that ambulance. That with all that computer stuff inside, that computer stuff don't need to be processed be like a regular for a regular vehicle. It needs to be set up to where safeguards are in place to make sure the
Hmm.
lights are running. Ambulance is running like it's supposed to, top line. The hospital can know how close is the ambulance to the hospital to where they get ready when they get right up close to the doors. More or less
Well, I
add,
mean,
add a little bit more to it.
I don't buy
when
into
it
that.
comes to,
You know, I mean, you guys like listen to what you're saying right there. Okay, it all does sound like it's really good and safety and all that great, but I mean, you take a look at what you're really talking about there. You're talking about freaking a lot of regulations. You're talking about um, these machines doing what humans should already be doing. Okay, like
hmm
this is the way humans should already be doing their work. All right.
hmm
Now, like, I don't want any kind of technology inside of a vehicle, if it's my vehicle or the ambulance or the hospital, that is going to freaking make sure that everything's done accordingly. I want a human doing it.
Well, you can have it both
Why? Well,
directions.
why? I don't want
when
it
it
both
comes to
ways.
emergency vehicles, when it comes to emergency vehicles, I think any kind of technology that can aid is justified. But for the private citizen, it should be up to the private citizen.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, you take a
I,
look
I,
at
I
these
want extra
ambulances too,
measures
though.
on.
You
I
know,
want extra measures on police vehicles. Okay,
yeah.
so they're not running over perps, to where they're, where they're not sideswiping motorcyclists
Well,
to stop them.
do, do you
That sort of
want do
thing.
you want do you want AI installed into an ambulance? Stop and think about that.
Well,
You know,
as long as it's not a racist AI.
I'm talking about a malfunctioning one. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a malfunctioning AI if it's racist.
You turn around and get an ambulance
You
that's
know what I mean?
supposed to take you to the hospital, and all of a sudden it's plowing into freaking 20 people walking across a street because, of course, according to the law, they're allowed to freaking, run red lights. So all of a
Well,
sudden they
imagine
malfunction.
imagine AI calculating the probability of you actually having an emergency based on other data that might be flowing through the system.
Right.
You might be a hypochondriac, and they may not show up. Or you could be having a massive heart attack, and it may prioritize picking you up before they go and rescue someone else.
That's a good point.
So it goes both directions, you
Yep.
know?
So, well,
And yeah, and let me ask you another thing. And what this is, and I would have to say, I would want a person driving this one vehicle for so many reasons, and that's a fire truck. Okay, high speed,
Uh-huh.
all that long, like them real long fire trucks. There's got to be a guy driving it and able, no, there ain't no computer that's going to operate that fire truck like that because you don't want two people trying to fight against it, you know. Because if you
Yeah.
get like and only time and have the best way is where the fire truck has a better way of pinpoint where the location is, how long it's going to take, the nearest thing for the water, where the hose is, and like if
Hmm.
it's a 20-story building or whatever, to where it asks all that information and shares it, okay, with with the
Hmm.
team in there, and to know have all that information, and if it needs we call them people, not ambulance, but the other team that when you get hurt, if they need them to
rescue.
be there or
Well,
not,
the emergency responders, the
yeah,
paramedics.
where they can be alerted as well too.
Now, trust me when I tell you that there is not going to be AI is not going to replace firefighters.
Oh, I'm not saying
No.
replace
It
them.
can do just about anything, but it's not going to be able to rescue people from a building and freaking put out fires.
No, what I was referring to is in case of a fire, the AI will find out, okay, by the information that it receives, how tall is the build, how big it is, or like if it's a 3 to 4 story building or one story, there's a house, and if so, how many people, and if everyone's got out of the house or not. Uh, if it's
Well,
a
they already have that technology, though. You know what I mean? The only thing
Yeah, it's
is
called Range R.
yeah,
what is
Have
that?
you heard of it?
Uh-uh.
It's literally a radar gun. It's called Range R that can see through people's houses. Uh, they gave it out to the cops for a while, and then I think it got fought in court. I think the ACLU fought it. Now somebody fought against it, and then they retracted that technology. But yeah, and they can literally find out. They can find your heart rate. It's just sitting outside your house. They can find your heart rate, your body heat, and if they're using microwaves, they can find where your guns are. They can ping all the metal in your house.
Yeah, but I'm talking about as you're going towards the place. No, you're driving down the road
Hmm.
heading for the place. What the computer will do is ask all the important information. Like if there's a police officer already there at the fire place, you can hear like a
Uh-huh.
communication, like a voice asking you them key questions. If it's a house or a 2 story house or what is it and what if it's made out of, and if they need to have
Hmm.
extra people there for in case of or anyone hurt or not, it can be looked at right
Hmm.
then, and then for an ambulance to be there or whatever, and if so, if they need extra fire department, other fire trucks to be there, you could ask the question
Hmm.
like how big it is and all the things of if their fire trucks might not be big enough to handle that situation. And if so, the other people at the firehouse get the report from that truck about sending that off to hack for backup.
Well, we don't
I,
need to be making people obsolete.
oh
Training.
no,
If you've got boots on the ground, the more training people have, the better. Because
yeah.
we don't have AI robots yet to do the physical work. So I think
Oh, I
the
wasn't
focus
talking about
should always be on our responders instead of the technology.
yeah. I wasn't talking about replacing them. I'm just saying give like information about the fire itself, not the people. I'm not talking about getting rid of the people. I'm just saying to where they have a better chance of getting rid of the fire without anyone getting hurt or getting killed. The process of less danger, more of the good results from it. You know,
It's from something from a computer in a car.
yeah, like that car TV show Michael Knight, how Kit could actually look in somewhat of a
Oh,
long
Knight
range,
Rider.
yeah, a Night Rider, and could tell him about if there's someone hiding in a building or something, or
Mm-hmm.
like chemicals. Yeah, I'm talking about a computerized that he is able to do that to talk and to find out information about from one place to the other. You know, because
So that would rely upon a system, because I mean, of course, the individual cars, I don't think would have that technology. It would have to be set. It would have to be dependent upon the infrastructure, and you have to get the people to agree to that infrastructure. Of course, it's not very hard. You sell it to them, like I've been saying, and that will be put into place.
you know,
However, there are people, again, that will be resistant to that and want to stay old school, and these people will be put on a terrorist list to be watched in anyways, covertly.
yeah.
So you kind of
Well,
damned if you do and damned if you don't.
that that webcam body cam they got. If they can set it up to where it's wireless, tapped in, you built it in wireless to the computer in the squad car, okay, where it
Mm-hmm.
runs the video through the computer into the thing for
Mm-hmm.
communications. That's what I was referring to, is where the guy sits there, records it from his
Mm-hmm.
body cam. It shows the whole area. He just walked, not go, no, I'm not saying get up close into the fire, but just get close enough to give a good view of the fire and everything that's around it, you know, to where they
Well,
understand a lot more of it.
I had started working with someone to create an app to be able to for police to use to have public surveillance, because these are public servants, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying hook up sound to it, because you have investigations that, of course, should be private, or not private, but kept from public knowledge before a hearing or anything of that nature. Um, but there should be a camera. These public servants, the people should be able to tap into any body cam footage at any time. Okay, the police do
Yeah.
not have privacy on their jobs. They're public servants. Okay, everything that they do should be viewable by the public at any time. And I had been
Yeah.
working with somebody on the legalities of this and that sort of thing, and which would be great for the public. Misconduct would drop significantly, probably even down to zero. If the cop wants to keep his job, that's the only way you're going to get honest public servants, not just body cams, because a lot of times these body cams, the footage gets erased if it's deemed irrelevant. Nothing bad has happened. Body cam footage will be put away, sealed by a judge, barred from entering in as evidence in an investigation, so it becomes pointless. That doesn't help us. So what needs to be done to keep our policemen honest is to have a no audio, full public feed to the whole world, and to be able to access at any time.
The only
So,
problem, hmm?
mhm.
Only problem with that
Go
is,
ahead.
okay, when you know that, okay, as a person, okay, you can make up something that looks like something, but without being said, you can do something that you can, what do you call it, like your left hand doing something what your right hand ain't doing, you know. But
Right,
and
right.
that's the thing. Well, what some people might look and say, what you do not hear is not always the case, you know. what you see is
It's
not
better
always the case.
than is 100% more credible than what an officer would say or
Well, yeah.
testify to. I don't. For you're talking like these police have some sort of intelligence,
Well,
like some
no.
level of they're not
Well,
gonna get smart enough to fool the public by giving a testimony opposite of what's happening in
oh,
the cameras.
well,
That's
no.
not
I
gonna happen.
wasn't. What I was referring to is like whatever you're recording at that point in time. Okay, without the audio.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you don't really know
Uh-huh.
the full thing of what's going on. What you see is not always the case. Without the audio,
Well, I
which you
mean,
hit the sounds.
I'm not saying that there's no audio should be recording. I'm saying what's available to the public during the stream
Oh,
would
oh,
be
oh,
silenced,
okay. And
just to keep the
another,
privacy of suspects and that sort of thing. Right.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Until it reaches the light of day in court.
Yeah.
Right.
And another thing wouldn't be bad for them. Well, like they show that there's some kind of camera on the dashboard of the car of the car, and they showed the things about car accidents and all that. That's not bad. Okay, to where when situations
Hmm.
does appear, they have just not the body cam, but that camera within the car itself. That's pretty good. But if
Hmm.
they can set it up to where it can go through the computer and being what you call it, transmitted to to like the jailhouse or something else, because who knows during the time,
Hmm.
however, whatever the amount of the video is in the camera, you can always
Hmm.
set it up to where it can be transmitted from out of the camera through the computer into the jailhouse computer system for that video. You
Hmm.
know, that would be a smart thing to do.
Okay,
But
okay, Robert. Now,
Well, there are cameras in the cop cars, so some of them record audio. I don't think they all do. Um, but as far as uh, that sort of thing goes, and it should also be, you gotta get permission from a supervisor. As a cop, you're gonna have lunch breaks. You're gonna need to use the bathroom. Of course, there are times when you have to cap your camera, and that should never be while on an active investigation or stop. So, but regardless, the reason why this stuff hasn't been implemented already is because they haven't figured out how to get out of it yet, or they don't have a well worked out plan to get out of it. A system is not going to be put on top of us if the higher ups don't have a way to get out of it themselves. That's the only reason why this stuff hasn't been implemented. Because the government doesn't like it when you point out and clean up corruption within the system. The government doesn't like that at all. So you got to think of why the stuff hasn't been put to good use yet, and when it does come into play, you got to look at the money grabs. How every corporation, every company is involved in your business, and how the government is going to use it against you, and so forth.
yeah, I was wondering how is this going to work with U-Haul, a company, because they manufacture their own trucks.
Car rentals and all that stuff.
Well,
Right.
yeah, car rentals they
So,
buy it from the Ford itself. Uh,
uh-huh.
the truck company they built their own U-Haul trucks and trailers. They do, and with
Hmm.
all this new stuff, are they going to implement it? Do they have to implement that as well? U-Haul and
what
all of them.
usually happens is they set up regulations where it's mandatory that this stuff is on their equipment. So in order for them to
Right.
continue with business, they have to, even if they're doing it
Right.
themselves, they still have to put the stuff on it in order for them to still be in
Right.
business. Now, we've actually been doing pretty good. We're up to an hour and 3 minutes on recording, and it's an hour and 35 minutes that your live stream on your channel has been going on. So if you want to, we can call this tonight because I'm tired. You want to do that, Robert?
Yeah, we could call it a night.
Okay.
You want to call it tonight, Robert?
I actually slept in today because I've been sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I could use a little bit more rest tonight. Sure, let's call it a night. What time are we starting tomorrow?
First, Robert
Central
has to end his show because we're trying to get him to where he's doing a proper intro and outro.
Oh.
So,
Robert, all right, take it on out, brother.
All right. My name is Robert Hanson at Robert Hanson's Life. You can contact me through here, and my brother as well. And where you can contact him through is
you can contact me on mine's at Roger_Hanson or Roger Hanson at ROGLOL 1973 on X. That's basically it.
And you too.
You can contact me on the back page. No, just kidding. Don't contact me. Leave me alone, damn it. No.
if anybody needs to contact us they can contact us through me if they want. We can just get in touch with me on Minds or on X, or heck, I'm even on Element Matrix at Rogers Hangout, so you can find me there. I'm on Discord, but that's for the wonderful world of weirdness. Or heck, just say something in the comment section, and I'll make sure that it gets passed on.
Well, if you like it, thumbs up or thumbs down.
Like, subscribe, share.
Yeah, like it, subscribe, and share at Robert Hanson's Live.
All right.
You ladies and gentlemen, you have a nice night and have a nice week. Thank you.
Oh man, thank God that's over.
Whew. That's pretty good.
That was pretty good.
You know, the thing about Robert, he asks questions, and it's like, and I answer them. It's like, I didn't know that I do that. I don't realize. You know what they say? You don't know. You learn the things that you repeat. Like you if you're teaching yourself, you learn 95% of the things that you teach. That's the saying. You learn 95% of the things that you teach.